Downtown Fargo, where culture, creativity, and community collide. You've heard the headlines. Now hear what's really happening. Bringing the best of Broadway direct to you. The stories, the people, and the places that make downtown the heartbeat of our city. This is Rocky's Downtown Hour with Rocky Schneider.
Happy Friday, everybody. This is Rocky Schneider with Rocky's Downtown Hour. Thanks for the delayed start here. We had an update from the Fargo police, and it was a big update, so we wanted to make sure to keep that news in everyone's fresh in everyone's mind. We know we like the transparency, and we appreciate Captain Christensen for his work on the press conference. But right now, I'm very excited because I'm joined by Dave and Kate Cook, president of NDSU, and his lovely wife is here to join us. They have a big deal tomorrow, not just because NDSU is playing a very large football game, but even maybe more important, they are the Grand Marshal of our Xcel Energy's Holiday Lights Parade in downtown Fargo. So Dave and Kate, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
And then we also have Tony Grinberg from Xcel Energy with us, who is our premier sponsor of the parade and longtime supporter of our efforts in downtown. So we thank Xcel and thank you, Tony, for joining us as well.
Thank you, Rocky. Glad to be here.
Okay, so we got a parade tomorrow. Very exciting. I'm just going to give out the details because I was planning to do that in my little opening segment. But for everybody out there, we always look for the two W's. It's not going to be wet and it's not going to be windy, but it will be a little chilly. So last year, I think we broke a record that day, and it was 50-some degrees. And so it was, not quite a holiday parade, but it was fun. It's going to be a little chilly out there, but parade starts at 6:30, starts in Moorhead and Center Avenue, and then it comes over to downtown Fargo on MP Avenue, and then it turns north on Broadway up to 4th Avenue. So there's 10 blocks of seeing area. You can come down, get a bite to eat first, grab a good window seat, or I always like to try to be near a door so that you can pop in and out and warm up, grab a hot chocolate or whatever you're interested in, and then come back out and keep watching the parade. We have 80-some floats, so it should be great. It probably won't get to Fargo until about 7 o'clock, so if you're planning your schedule. But otherwise, we're really excited. And up front in the float, we have Xcel Energy, of course, as our premier sponsor. Tony, you want to talk about how you got involved in this effort?
Sure. Thank you, Rocky, and glad to be here this morning. We have been steadfast and long-term supporters of the Holiday Lights Parade at Xcel Energy, and the continued tradition of bringing people together, celebrating the holiday season. No better place than to do that in downtown Fargo, and we really appreciate our support and collaboration with the Downtown Community Partnership. Things are really on the move, and that's a testament to your leadership as well, Rocky, so doing a great job.
Well, thank you. And, this holiday season's been a lot of fun. Chris Kindle Mart the last 2 weekends, they had 18,000 visitors, and so they were up, I forget what the percentage was, but a very significant percentage. Small Business Saturday, I heard from a couple stores downtown, they had record-breaking sales that day for Small Business Saturday. The tree lighting Park District had last Tuesday was, very well attended and a lot of fun. So a lot of things happening. And so we keep trying to do our efforts to keep things safe and friendly. And, watching the police efforts this morning, I want to let everybody know we do just a prolific amount of coordination with the police department, both in Fargo and Moorhead, along with all the EMS and fire and everything else. So the parades are a lot of work, but they sure are fun. So we appreciate Xcel's sponsorship of that and making this free community event for everybody. And of course, we get to pick the Grand Marshal. And so Ronnie and Janae on the last show asked, how do we pick the Grand Marshal? They wanted to know why they weren't picked.
Well, let's put them on the list.
Yeah.
We start that process in the summer every year, correct? And we look to leaders and folks that are making an impact in the community, and as an honor. And so we go through just a process at Xcel Energy and with Rocky's team, and come up with a Grand Marshal candidate as well as the Junior Grand Marshal.
And for those out there that haven't met our Grand Marshals, they have become part of Fargo and great community assets, I think. Met Dave on a legislative trip a few years ago first, and didn't know who he was. I didn't recognize him. It was maybe my bad. And then once I recognized him, I realized I probably should have recognized him. But he was so personable and walked right up, shake your hand. Seems just like, run-of-the-mill North Dakotan, that not a fancy president, of a major university. And so we were just really excited, and to see both of you just ingrain yourselves in Fargo community and the whole state community has been really neat to see. And hopefully it sets a standard for who comes next.
Yeah, well, thank you, Rocky. I remember meeting you as well. And so, we've really enjoyed the last few years, and we're really honored to be the Grand Marshals, and thanks to Tony and Xcel, your leadership and all that you do for downtown, and of course, Rocky, what you do for the downtown community is absolutely amazing. It's one of the things that we recognized very early on when we moved here, just what an amazing community we have and the important role that NDSU plays in that. We're also very proud of that.
So, Kate, what I always ask people when I love getting outside perspectives of Fargo, because people will mention the movie or the accents or something, but what surprised you about Fargo that you didn't anticipate? I mean, you guys are from Iowa, so it's not terribly different, but I bet you still probably had some perception of us.
Yeah, no, I think Fargo is a hidden gem. There's so much to do. There's great restaurants and there's entertainment, and it's always alive, and that's what I like. We're very involved in the university, but if we don't have something to do, we can always find something to do. We love the food, we love the activities, we love walking downtown. You can just stay engaged.
I was going to joke, do you guys actually get time to find things to do, or is it your schedule's probably pretty booked? But
we piecemeal everything together, and you're always hungry, so there's always time to eat.
I know it's always my favorite thing to ask too, is to give a shout out to your favorite places downtown, and people always give me that look like I don't want to pick. Somebody will be like, "What about me?" But I always ask people, like, what's something that was your hidden gem downtown that maybe doesn't get the attention that other things do?
Well, I can tell you one of the things that we've loved to do is walk our dogs from campus downtown. It's a nice little hike, but then when you get down there, there's a lot going on. It's a lot of fun. So really appreciate just, outside in the summer, but even in the wintertime, we really enjoy getting out and about.
Well, we got a little abbreviated thing here, so I'm going to just give one more shout out to our parade details, and then we'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll talk more about NDSU's connection to downtown. But the parade is tomorrow at 6:30. Starts in Moorhead. We have a slightly abbreviated start point. We usually start at 8th Street, but it'll be at 6th Street to accommodate some construction over there. So make plans. There's lots of parking lots around there, and you look on Facebook, we have a parking map as well. Or in downtown Fargo, we got 4 parking ramps that are open and plenty of parking. So we'll see you tomorrow night at 6:30. And then after this break, we'll be back to talk more about NDSU and what it means to downtown. Welcome back. I'm joined in studio with President Cook and Kate Cook, along with Tony Grinberg from Xcel Energy, talking about the parade and our Grand Marshals for this year's parade, and just what a connection that downtown Fargo has with NDSU. And the President Cook has been a great advocate of that and really bolsters it, and love to have you guys in the parade. But I always try to bring up, when I grew up in Fargo, I graduated in 1999 from high school. I left and I didn't think I'd ever come back. And then I started hearing about people hanging out downtown or going to the Hodo or going to school downtown. And in 2004, Renaissance Hall opened, which is the School of Design and Art and Architecture. Sometimes I mess up the words there, but I think I got that. And it's just been really great. That, along with the Renaissance Zone state program that Tony Grinberg championed out in Bismarck in his time there as a senator, that appreciate that. But just to see what it's grown into, now you have multiple campuses downtown.
Right, multiple buildings. And so, the Renaissance Hall it's a beautiful building. It's where we recruit a lot of the students from the programs you just mentioned. And we hear over and over again, if we can get a prospective student downtown in that building, we got them. It's that special. And so love the fact that we played an important role and I think kind of jump-starting some things and sparking it. And it's just really rolled from there. So we have Renaissance Hall, we have Berry Hall, where we have a lot of business and agriculture, and then, of course, Klai Hall, which is landscape architecture. And so a lot of students downtown, and they love it, and it's a big recruiting tool for us as a university.
One of the neat things about Renaissance Hall is, as starting this effort, right next to it was a parking lot for the last 50 years, and now you see that going up as the Fargo Moorhead Community Theater and the Avery Apartments. And I know Tony Grinberg spoke at the groundbreaking of that, and to see that parking ramp's now open for the parade tomorrow on MP Avenue, but also the theater is going to be going in there in the next year, and just give a lot more options for students for parking, for living right on campus there. And I know there's a store moving in across the street from there that I love to visit that they haven't announced yet, but so really excited about all of that, and just to see sometimes it takes a while, but filling in those parking lots with development was really because of the investment of NDSU to make that possible.
Thank you. And I know our students love having, access to the parking lots and just living downtown. We love to have our students live, on campus as freshmen for a lot of reasons. That's a great way to make sure they get connected. And have success as freshmen. But after that, a lot of times our students end up moving downtown and really becoming a part of the community.
It's fun to see. One of our most popular social media things whenever we talk about studying at coffee shops. And so it's fun to see all the coffee shops full of people with laptops and, students chatting and meeting each other, meeting, future spouses, making connections for work, all these things. And that's what the beauty of downtowns are, right? You get to walk and run into each other. It's almost like a college campus.
Yeah, that's right. It's a lot of fun. When I'll often go grab a cup of coffee in the morning or have a breakfast, and inevitably you always will see a student either studying or getting ready to go to school or something like that. So it's definitely part of our university community. There's no question.
Yeah, and it's funny. You have to remember everybody's names too, because you'll see them again the next day. And you've always been awesome at remembering everybody's names. Everyone says that, and so it's a amazing talent. And hopefully all the students are picking up that talent too, because there's nothing that wins people over like actually remembering who they are, not just their name, but something about them. And so it's a great skill, and appreciate what you've shown as leadership. And so I was going to ask you, what's next for NDSU? I know you're headed on in March, I think, but what do you think's next for downtown and NDSU together?
Oh, I think the future is really bright. We are, really some of our programs that actually have wait lists, our architecture program. Students are just really energized to get into our College of Business. A lot of great things. I know we're going to talk to the dean here in a minute. And so I think some of our programs that are really moving in the right direction, that align with business and industry, helping out workforce in the region, are right there where we want it to be in downtown. And so I think there's a bright future. I'm excited about the community theater that you mentioned. I'm just thinking about well-rounded student education and opportunities. There's ways that we can continue to partner there that are fun. And oh, by the way, we just watched our students perform last night, Glory. Everybody should go check that out.
Very cool.
There are fun things going on, like we have Handel's Messiah at First Lutheran Church, which is right there on the edge of downtown. And so there's a lot of things happening that we'll build on.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. And Tony Grinberg, thank you for joining us. And we'll see you tomorrow night at the parade. Hopefully everybody can join us and see what Xcel's decked out, ahead of the parade looks like. So when we come back, we're going to be joined by the Dean of the College of Business, Catherine Berkland. Welcome back. I'm joined with the leadership from NDSU. Very exciting. This is the best part of downtown, is our connection with NDSU. And so joining us in studio, we have President Dave Cook and his wife Kate Cook, along with Dean Catherine Berkland of the College of Business at Berry Hall downtown. So welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Why don't you give us an overview? What is Berry Hall when people say that?
So the NDSU College of Business is located in Richard H. Berry Hall, which is at the corner of 2nd Avenue and 10th Street. If you've seen the nice big building there, which has a very historic original building with our offices in it, and then a relatively new, 15 years or so, academic wing that's been added on.
And I'm probably going to be wrong. It's the Pioneer Building, was that
Correct.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, used to have the big Pioneer sign on top of it for those that have been around a while. I got my MBA from Berry Hall, so very exciting. It's always fun to see it there and see the students outside.
Yeah, we work really hard to get them to be downtown and to hang out and interact with our partners that are downtown.
To me, business school in downtown makes sense. It feels like there's so much commerce, and banks and the financial world and everything else, that there could be all sorts of different fun reasons to have them downtown.
Yeah. A number of universities have their College of Business in downtown, and we feel it's valuable, and we take advantage and want to make sure our students are experiencing something related to how to be a professional and to network with professionals and get integrated into that community of industry leaders that exists at the economic hub in downtown.
So is that part of the recruitment process too for the College of Business, that mention downtown? And I'm always curious how it's perceived. Is that different? Do they want to be on main campus? Do they want to be downtown?
Yeah, we do recruit and use Berry Hall as a recruitment tool. We just had a visit day a couple of weeks ago. We had 85 prospective students and their parents and their siblings and whatnot to Berry Hall, talking about what we have to offer there. We acknowledge that it is not with the other campus buildings north of us, but we do have a dedicated MAT bus route, and it's heated in the winter and really easy for students to be able to hop off right at the front door. So we do talk about how, as a professional school, your integration with entities off campus is really important in what we teach, and so being downtown allows us to do that.
Yeah, and we talk about it like it's this long ways away too. I mean, it's like a 2-minute drive.
Yeah, it's real not that
You
far.
know, you could probably walk it in 10 minutes if you got young legs,
Yeah,
you know,
indeed.
type thing. So it's not, I went to school at University of Minnesota, and when you went to the St. Paul campus, it's like a half an hour bus ride. And so it's all basically connected at this point.
Indeed.
And so we like to separate it, but I'm excited getting my MBA from NDSU. I'm now a business mentor to one of the students there. And you gave a great presentation about how all the different generations can learn from each other.
Yeah.
Which is really important. If you're in any office right now, you probably notice that generations are a little different.
A little bit. We have, in most offices, probably 5 generations in the workforce at the moment, sometimes 6, depending on if you have a long-term employee and perhaps a new high school grad that's there. And being able to acknowledge that there's differences in the way we communicate, our desires for uncertainty, our willingness to accept uncertainty, and our expectations for professionalism. Teaching our students what's expected of them to be professionals, I believe, is part of our job. And really, we can take advantage of being in downtown. It's easy for us to get mentors to participate, but also visiting industry members to come in and be able to visit us, for just an hour at a time if they need, because we are easily accessible.
Okay, I'm going to go back to a social media video, because talking to different generations, President Cook did one that, so this is, I'm a little annoyed about it because I shot one and we were going to release it the day you released yours. And so I scrapped it. I said, he did it better than I did.
Oh,
So I'm
no.
not putting this out. It's dumb. It's already been done. Yeah. But it was great. You talked Gen Z slang.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, so we did a Gen Z video just to connect with our students, and went around campus, talked to our existing students, but it was really for potential future students too. And we had a lot of fun. I kind of made fun of myself a little bit along the way, and I still watch it and not quite sure what I said, but from what I gather, it landed with the younger generation okay.
Yeah. So is he as humble at home as he is everywhere else, or does he come home and be like, look how many likes I got on this?
No, no, just as humble. Who he is who he is.
He's an influencer. But
I don't know about that.
but you watch that video now and you realize like all that slang is now gone. It's like it's rolled over already. You got to do a 6-7 video now or something. And
Yeah, I know. There you
I
go.
think
I got to keep going.
Kind of one and done.
She keeps saying, back off, right? Yeah, 6-7 video. There. Go ahead. Now you gave me a great idea.
There we go.
When are you going to roll yours out? And I'll make sure to roll it out earlier in the day.
Yeah, I'll let you know. And
Sure.
the day after.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I shouldn't mention that. My staff's back and going, oh, we should do that video. Yeah, that's great.
That's great.
But no, I mean, I think that's probably the toughest thing I'd imagine for all your roles is how do you talk to college kids and make it relevant where they're, listening to you and try to retain information. And, I think people go to college for the right reasons, but it's also tough to listen to professors and like, what do they really know?
Yeah, I mean, well, there are a lot of stakeholders as a president that you're working with, and certainly, yes, students are changing. They're always changing, and here we are rolling into this world where AI is so critical. And we're pretty proud. We announced that we're starting an honors college that is focused on an abundance mindset, but also this, going to really focus on AI, where we're bringing the best and brightest students to help us think about the role of AI, which would, roll into all kinds of other technological innovations. So we're relying on our students to help us think about the future, which is, I think, really important.
Yeah, so I have a job posting right now, and it's amazing because I've leaned into AI now for several years, and I don't know how I'd ever go back on. It's like once you got a smartphone, you're like, how did I ever do it without this?
Yeah.
It's like the next thing. But the amount of stuff people use AI for, and teaching them to use it not poorly, it's like it's a crutch, but it could be a tool. It's the same thing. But some people will answer questions and they'll leave the prompt, like, sure, I can help you with that question, and then they answer it. I'm like, no, you got to delete that part.
Right. Yeah.
But it's like teaching people how to use AI appropriately is such a big.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think the future of higher education, we need to think about the ethical use of AI, but we have to embrace it. It's a little scary, right? And every day it's constantly moving forward, but that's what institutions of higher education are all about. So we're embracing it at NDSU.
Yeah, I know it's one of the things Dean Berkland talked about is, trying to learn as much from your mentee as they learn from you.
Right.
And I, having worked with young generations now, a bunch of 20-somethings, it's really helpful, figure out how do they find passion in their work is different than, the previous generation. And I like to think I'm between generations somewhat. And I don't know, you consider yourself an Xer? Is that?
I don't. I'm a Gen Zer. You hadn't heard?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I know you talked about being between generations too, and I always wonder, does anybody actually feel like they're in a generation, or does everybody feel like they have parts of different ones?
I think most of the time people identify with parts of different ones, and I think that's a key when we look at workplace dynamics and teaching our students who want to be in a professional workplace. They've made clear they've selected business or architecture, others where there is a professional element, and so teaching them about the things that they value and the skills that they have and how that connects across generations is really important. I think most people would like to identify with different parts of generations. I always want to identify with parts of generations younger than me, but I think that's just because I would like to not be in the one I'm in. But that idea of really taking stock of the elements that you bring to the workplace and acknowledging that your colleagues in different generations have had different life experiences in the whole sort of macroeconomic sense to how they became a professional is important. So,
COVID obviously impacted students in a lot of ways, but I think it's almost helped generations talk to each other, because before COVID, there's no way you wouldn't be in a suit and tie every day, I guess, as a president of a university, and you see that with bankers downtown. It's like, I feel bad for the tie industry, because it's like everyone's just like, okay, can we all agree that these should be out?
Well, I still wear a tie a lot, but not today. And I will not be wearing a tie at the parade, just so you know, or the football game tomorrow that we're pretty excited about too. So,
maybe we should talk about the football.
Yeah,
I hear that's a thing locally.
We love that. We have a pretty good football team. Yeah.
So the game is at noon on Friday, or tomorrow, Saturday, which gives you perfect time to get to the parade afterwards, post party.
Yeah, it's
celebration.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great, to me, it just symbolizes everything that's great about, Fargo, Moorhead, West Fargo. There's always something going on. We have a great football game, which is going to be a lot of fun, and then we can roll over to the parade. And so I just feel like this is what's happening almost every weekend in our community, and NDSU feels like we're right in the middle of so much of it. We're proud of that.
Are there
Following the parade, you can go to the basketball game.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, we have a basketball game too. Yeah.
I was going to ask, what other events are going on around the game and celebration that people can be a part of?
Well, yeah, I mentioned a few of these earlier, but Glory, our students are doing a performance. We watched it last night, but they have several performances through the weekend and next week, and we're excited to go to Handel's Messiah at First Lutheran tonight, actually. And then, of course, football and the parade. There's always something going on campus. So lots of other types of performances all weekend.
Madrigal dinners are coming up.
Yeah, Madrigal dinners next week we'll be going. So, yeah, there's always something.
So do you have everyone's probably asked you, but what's the score? What's your prediction?
Oh, gosh.
Well, I'm going to ask my wife to make that prediction, honey. What do you think?
I just like a win. It makes me too nervous. I feel like I'm out there helping them at every single play. So I'm excited. I 100% believe in our student athletes and our coaching staff. So I'm just going for the win.
So are you a loud fan out there, or are you the tense fan that's clenching?
I'm probably a good mixture of both. Yeah. Cool. Sometimes I get asked by my husband to be a little bit quieter. Where's Catherine's giving me?
Can I add one thing to your comment about the players and the performers?
Yes.
I just want to send out a reminder, and I think most of our listeners probably know this, but every single one of those students that are on the field and those students that are on the stage, they are a student in addition to that work that they are doing there, and they are exceptional students, and they are studying a variety of things. So, our athletic teams have multiple students, probably hundreds of students who have a 3.75 GPA or higher, and they are studying every topic that we offer at NDSU. They're studying business, they're studying engineering, and they're studying complicated subjects. So I just want to make sure that everyone understands these athletes and these performers work really hard to manage their schedule and really hard to engage in the life of being a student, in addition to the wonderful performances that they give on the stage and on the field, because it is really fun to watch them.
Yeah, thank you for adding that, because that is something that you talk about what surprised us the most, and that's probably what it is. Seeing like these incredible students that are excelling all over the place and how incredibly busy they are. I mean, last night we went to the show and it got her over on 10, and we said that driving home. We're coming up into final season. These students, are not probably even getting home before 11, and they are just continuing to excel. So thank you for.
Yeah, and my
stating that.
previous work at AE2S, an engineering firm in town, we had Joe Haig as one of our interns for a couple of years, and now he's in his 6th season or something like that in the NFL. And so it's crazy to think like, okay, not only was he an engineering student and intern, but he was also then going to play football. And he lived up by me in North Fargo, and I used to see him driving in the tiniest little car possible for this big, incredibly bright guy. And he's probably driving something nicer now, but
Right.
I have a question about your transition. So you've taken a new role. You want to give us an overview of that coming up in March?
Yeah, so we're really blessed. We had an incredible opportunity to return home. In both Kate and I grew up in Ames, Iowa, went to Ames High. Our family are there, my parents, her mother. We went on to Iowa State University, and so spent a lot of our time there. And a few months back, got reached out because the president job was open, and so recently I accepted that role, which was really challenging and difficult because we really do. We love it here. We love the people here. Everybody has treated us both with so much grace, welcomed us into the community, and so probably the most difficult decision we've made, maybe ever, and I hope ever. But the opportunity to return home, to get a little bit closer to family at this point in our lives was a little, just an opportunity we couldn't pass up. And for that, we feel really blessed because we love it here, and I think we'll have lifelong friends here, but we do have this opportunity. And so I'll make that transition. I think day one there is March 1st.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I gave a couple of months to kind of help with the transition to make sure everything that we're doing here we feel good about before we go. But so still have a little bit of time to hang out, Rocky. So
Well, congratulations. Well deserved. I mean, I
Thank
think
you.
when anybody moves on to something better, it means you had a great platform and time here.
it's not better, but it's fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you get to go home. And Iowa State's great. They have a nice football stadium as well. Not as loud as the Dome probably, but it's a big stadium. I got to ride my bike through it once. It was part of Ragbri. And so
Oh.
Ragbri went through there, and it was a lot of fun.
I've done a few days of Ragbri, by
Yeah,
the way,
it's-
so we could compare notes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I did the first time I did it 3 days, and I felt like I got looked down upon by the people that were doing it all week.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm like, I got to come back and do all week now.
Yeah,
But
for
so I
everybody
did that,
listening,
yeah.
that's a bike. It's kind of a race across Iowa, but it's really more of a leisurely bike race over the course of a week. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. Registers or ride across. I forget always get Reg. The registers. Oh man, what is it?
Great bike race across Iowa is the
Yeah.
last part of it. So yeah,
But it's amazing. I'd love to get that going up here. So we'll work on that. But no, we're excited. What does it mean to go back to Iowa for you, Kate?
Well, I think, just as you say here, once a bison, always a bison.
Mhm.
We're cyclones. We were born and raised to be a cyclone. And so the opportunity to go back to our alma mater, to be a part of it, it's really full circle. And then, to also be in our hometown where our parents still are. It just feels like it's a little surreal. We're going home. And so I hope that everybody in North Dakota, in the Fargo community, understands that it's not about leaving NDSU, it's not about leaving Fargo, it's about the opportunity to go home and go back to our alma mater. And so we're thankful for that.
Yeah, and it's not too far away. You can always come back.
Right.
Or you could schedule some games between the two. And
Yep, that's been suggested. So noted.
yeah,
Yeah.
priority one, I think, for us. But yeah, no, it's really exciting. And so what does it mean to get to do all these community things? I mean, you get highlighted and you get put out there, and it's constant, isn't it? I mean, it's
Oh, in a great way. I mean, when you're president, one of the amazing things you get to do, you're kind of all in 24/7. For us, a lot of the community things are campus community events. There's always something going on. We love engaging with our students across all the different ways that I think they're learning and ultimately going to change the world. So that's a lot of fun. But of course, it's a real honor for us to be Grand Marshals of the parade and engage with the community and work with people like Tony Grinberg and Xcel. I mean, it's a real privilege and part of the job to connect NDSU's assets and strengths to the needs of our community and region. And so it's some of the best parts of the job.
I don't know if you got to see your lovely picture up on the billboard yet, but you should drive down the interstate. You'll see your Grand Marshal billboard up there, and
We'll take a photo. Yeah.
perfect. So, Catherine, a question for you, Dean Berkland. What can the public do to understand? Like, how do we engage more with our students and take advantage of what they bring to our
So I think there's a couple of ways to interact and engage with our students. If you happen to be a workplace or an employer that is interested in hiring students or having them to your office to job shadow, we have a great career and advising center that's happy to engage there and really will make sure that the experience is as great for you as it is for the students. So that's an opportunity. Be able to participate in and visit and watch any of the athletic events, any of the performance events, any of the music events, really to, and not just watch them, but perhaps stay around as the cast comes out to acknowledge your appreciation for the work that they've done and tell your friends about that. And then there are a number of ways in which colleges and different specialties reach out to the industry partners in their area. So engineering reaches out to their industry partners. In the College of Business, I feel like we get to reach out to everyone because everyone needs business students. So there's definitely opportunities to participate. My advice is, come to events or answer emails if we reach out to you, because we generally want to have participation in those things.
Yeah, and I'll throw out there, I mean, I got my master's degree while I was working full time too, and NDSU did a great job making that, I won't say easy, but it was a smooth process.
It's a great process. So we have a number of professional degrees that would be available for working professionals.
All
really,
ages.
All ages, really to upskill where you're at, to consider changing industries if you think you'd like to branch into another industry and you want to be prepared for doing that. We're happy to coordinate if you have an employer sponsorship of that, meaning that you need documentation so that they can pay for credits or whatnot. And the schedules are available and recruiters are happy to answer those questions.
Yeah, we're really excited to see all the influx of Iowa recruits coming back to Fargo next year too. So that'll be great. But no, we appreciate you coming on. We're at the end here, but want to remind everybody the Holiday Lights Parade is going on tomorrow. It starts at 6:30, so come out after you're done watching the football game, or just stay downtown if you're downtown watching it somewhere. Grab a bite to eat, grab someplace warm. All the information's at downtownfargo.com or on Facebook at our event site tomorrow at 6:30. Thank you.
Thank you, Rocky.
Thank you for everything.
Appreciate it.